One of the cool things about the original Nintendo Switch was fairly early on, we got options for third-party docks so that you could use it on more than one TV. Or if you wanted to travel with it, you didn't have to disconnect your original dock and take it with you. One of the bummers about the Nintendo Switch 2 is this dock is proprietary to that system, and none of the first or third-party Nintendo Switch docks work with that system. Having tested dozens of different docks for the original Nintendo Switch, for me, this was kind of a letdown. But I was recently contacted by a company called SIWIQU who asked me if I wanted to check out their Nintendo Switch 2 dock. This is the first third-party dock I have seen to date. And I asked them some questions. They never got back to me. So I did some searching. I found it on Amazon. Link will be down below if you want to check it out. So let's go ahead and find out, does this work with the Switch 2? How does it compare to the Switch 2 dock? Does it work with the original Switch? And overall, how does it look? Let's get started. So here you can see the S3 Max Switch 2 dock. Pretty basic. There is a standard and a LAN model. I did not see the LAN model listed. Taking a look at the back here, product name, Switch Dock 2, model S3 Max, gives you the input, USB output. It does have the required 20 volt 5 amp, has USB A input, 5 volt 1 amp. HDMI output does say 4K 120 Hertz. So let's go ahead, let's open this up. Now, one important thing, this clearly does not include an AC adapter. Use the official Nintendo one. That way you will have fewer issues, if any. So that's basically all that it is. It's just a hunk of plastic. Now on the back, you do have your HDMI output, USB-C in for power, USB 3.0 and 2.0. Not sure what that's for. Let's take a look here at the manual real quick. Oh, it toggles you back and forth between handheld mode and tabletop mode and TV mode. So pretty nice there. So let's go ahead. We're going to connect this up and see how it works. So this has been a bit of a nightmare for me to go ahead and get everything set up. And a lot of it had to do with my laptop dock. So I have right now, this is the original Nintendo Switch 2 dock playing up above me right now, just so that we can compare and contrast what one looks like versus the other. I am capturing at 4K coming through here. I am going to probably step it down to 1080p just because this video is going to be in 1080p. So one thing that I did have to do is bypass my switcher I have down here, which will do 4K 60 Hertz pass through. It doesn't do HDR though, so this is actually coming straight out of my dock into my AverMedia capture device, from there to my monitor, and then I'm using a splitter to go to both my monitor here for me to play on and to the TV behind me. So the TV behind me, that is a 2014 or 2015 Samsung 65-inch 4K TV. That also does not support HDR, so that is something important to note. And I just saw like some lag here on the screen. So here we have the new dock, and I do have it, hopefully you can see it behind me here, sitting on my Simpsons cabinet, and I do have the original dock here. So you can see, yes, it is coming through the original. One other thing I did do is I turned off my preview on OBS, so I'm not exactly seeing what is on screen. I just turned it back on. So everything to me looks fairly similar. One of the things that I noticed is the fact that this dock, the blacks seem to be not quite as dark as what is on the original. Other than that, like, I'm not seeing anything offensive in the display and the graphics or anything along those lines. The gameplay that I've done with this, and I've actually played on this quite a bit. My YouTube shorts that I've been posting with Switch 2 footage, I've used this dock, while this one has been up in my living room. And nobody said anything about it. So that tells me that it's okay enough. Again, it's about $35, so keeping that in mind. Again, I am going to drop the resolution down now to 1080p, just for quality of recording. From my hardware standpoint, I just need to get a new laptop. All right, got a decent start there. Hey, Jay from Square Pegs is online. Jay. Now, I will do a test in a moment here featuring Punch-Out, but I will say thus far, at least, like, what I have played and felt, like, I haven't noticed any lag or latency or display issues, so that's a good thing. Oh no, that damn blue shell. I mean, look at the detail on the blacks there too. for the oil on the screen. I've been pretty happy with it. Now, one thing, as I mentioned earlier, you want to use the OEM Nintendo power supply. That way you make sure that you don't have any issues. I know that was a concern with a lot of people, especially coming out of the original Nintendo Switch, was the fact that, you know, with some of the first docks that came out, the Nico one, whatever, anyways, you know, that was one of those where the power supplies did not spec out properly. Can I get that? I can't. And that's what was causing the issues with the third-party docks to begin with. Is what the dock does is it actually changes the voltage depending on what you're doing. You know, if you're just plugging in and using it as a power supply, I believe it just outputs 5 volts. But on the original Switch dock, it's like 15 volts. And with the Switch 2, it actually will do up to 20 volts into the system. So that's important that it's doing that handoff the right way. I know one issue as well that people brought up with this particular dock is the fact that there is no cooling fan built into it, and that is not wrong. There is not a cooling fan built into it. With the open back, however, I have not noticed an issue with any of the temperatures on the dock. So at least for me thus far, so far so good. And where I have this placed in my living room, it's actually underneath in an entertainment center, but it's open air. So it's not like it's being restricted from airflow, but it's not getting like a ton of extra. It's also underneath by my PlayStation 5. So that is dealing with the exact same either airflow or lack thereof. Those green shells just about got me. I've got to say, overall, this is playing very well, and I've been very pleasantly surprised with the performance on this. The only main thing for me, like I mentioned, is I think the black levels are a little bit on the soft side, but above and beyond that, so far, so good. So this is what it looks like playing Mario Kart World. We're going to actually go ahead. I'm not going to throw the whole game in here, play the whole game here, but we're going to play the Switch 2, what do they call it? The Switch 2 Tour. You know, it's the sales. I feel like it's one of those things where it is something that their sales team would have been using for training versus a demo. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to try that out real quick and see how that looks and plays. So here we have the Switch 2 Welcome Tour. I really do think that this is more of a sales training thing than a consumer game. It's okay. I know people have compared it to like Astrobot and Astro's Playroom. No, those were much better pure games than this. Let's see. Good to see you again. We're going to go walk around here. Oh, we have something. Check. The A button. And we have the X button. I mean, and this is basically how this whole demo kind of goes. I mean, it's you go, you find something, you highlight the thing, and then you get to take a quiz. Again, it's like a sales training piece. So not something that I think is... I know people are loving this. For me, no. Not really, no. So here you can scan an amiibo by holding it. Again, sales training type stuff. All right, now what we're going to do, I'm going to actually go ahead, I'm going to pop out Mario Kart, and we're going to pop in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Now, this doesn't have the enhanced Switch 2 stuff for it yet. I don't think that comes out for another month or two, but let's see how a Switch 1 game looks on the Switch 2. Now, one thing I do want to show you, and we are actually, you know, many people may not believe, I'm going to throw Breath of the Wild here in a moment. But if you go in here, software type Nintendo Switch software, for Switch 2 games, it'll say Nintendo Switch 2. And again, I'll show you on Breath of the Wild in a moment. But let's go into Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Now, even at 1080p, I still think this looks beautiful through here. And that is actually something just to note as well. My monitor that I'm playing on, it's a 1080p monitor. I've talked about it here in the past on the channel. You know, the biggest thing, like I mentioned too, you know, no lag, no delay, no issues there. So that's definitely something worthwhile check out. Hey, can I get up there? Looks like there's something up there, but I can't get there quite yet. I love the ability to steal other characters' abilities in this, and the different options that are in the game. I mean, this is just, like I say, this is a masterpiece of a game. I need to finish this. But again, now, in this, and it could be because the colors are simply brighter than what Mario Kart World is, but I am not seeing the issues with the black levels, so that's important to note. Got the Waddle Dee, so yeah, this is looking and playing good. I've got no complaints thus far with gameplay-wise how this has worked. Now for this, I am playing with the Switch Online controller, so we will go down here. Where is Punch-Out? There it is. Yeah, no issues whatsoever with responsiveness on this, and this is going through, you know, the capture card, the splitter, and everything like that, and it's Glass Joe, so there is that to keep in mind. Press a button, he responds, so that's exactly what I want to see here too. We are going to check out, like I say, a Switch 2 enhanced original Switch game in a second here. We're going to check out The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild because Glass Joe needs to sit down, and I know there are certain people out there that will enjoy watching me suffer playing Breath of the Wild. There we go. And just with that, Glass Joe is done. I really don't want to play this. It's time for some Breath of the Wild. Now, one of the things with this, I want you to see, this is my, my original Nintendo Switch version of Breath of the Wild. If you look above me here, or below me, down there, that's where it is. It says Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, so it has updated that, and actually we're going to go into options, software type, Nintendo Switch 2 software, so it is showing that I've applied the updates and everything to it. I've always thought this is a beautiful game. I've just never enjoyed playing it. Now, I have also gone ahead and started up the Zelda Notes for the smartphone app, so we shall see how this all works. I will say, like I mentioned, I always thought that Breath of the Wild was a beautiful game. This is even better looking still. And, I mean, that's something that, this game has been renowned for, is just how sharp it looks. And it's actually pretty neat how I'm watching the navigation on here, and it's actually changing the arrow where it's looking depending on how I have Link positioned as well. So that's interesting to note. We're going to take that horn. So overall, I have to say the performance on this dock is really been quite nice. We're going to take that. A restless cricket. Okay. It's one of those things that Nintendo does offer a standalone Switch dock through their own website. The thing is, it's $120, but it does include the power supply as well, where, you figure between the power supply and the dock itself, I spent about $70 total on this. So it saved me, nice bundle of arrows there. It saved me about $40 roughly, let me think. So 70 minus 120, so it's 20, another 20. So yeah, about $40 is what it saved me overall. So it is nice to have that as an option. I understand why some people may be concerned. Got him right in the face. As far as with bricking your Switch. To be honest with you, I was actually not reached out, that's proper English, right? The company that makes this dock reached out to me before I even knew about it and asked if I wanted to do a review on it. I asked them some questions, and I did ask specifically, is there any kind of an anti-brick guarantee on it? They never got back to me. And I don't know if it's one of those things where they never expected me to reply to them, and it may not have actually been the company. It may have been someone spoofing the company and, trying to steal my information, because that does happen. What was going on? I saw the A popped up here. See, this is one of the things I hate about this game. I saw it, and now, what the hell am I supposed to do? Anyways, let's wrap things up. So there's our look at the SIWIQU S3 Max dock for the Nintendo Switch 2. What do I think of it? There are things I do really like about it. I have some concerns and some things I don't like about it. One of the things that viewers of our YouTube short where we showed this off point out, this doesn't have any integrated cooling to it. It's just open air on the back. So whatever airflow you get around your system is what's going to provide cooling. If you're concerned about that, that's something to know. This does have your HDMI output on it, also has your USB-C for input, for power, and then USB-A and USB-A 2.0 and 3.0 ports. I have seen a version from this same company that has an Ethernet port on it. Do not buy that one. Everything I'm seeing, that is only for the original Nintendo Switch. Now, talking about the original Nintendo Switch, Nintendo, why did you do this to consumers? Like, your power supplies are switching. The power supply for the Switch 2 you can use with the original Nintendo Switch. It'll do 15 volts, which is what the original Switch needs. The Switch 2 needs 15 volts, so it needs 20 volts. Now, talking about the original Nintendo Switch, Nintendo, why did you do your consumer base like this? You have so many people out there that either are going to be upgrading from the original Switch to a Switch 2 or have multiple Switch docks. Your power supplies are switching. It'll go from 15 to 20 volts, no problem. It'll go from 20 to 15 volts, no problem. So I'm very frustrated that Nintendo took this course of action. It's really anti-consumer in my view, and I don't throw that term out a whole lot, but this is something that really kind of sticks it to the end user. I am concerned that this company, SIWIQU, reached out to me, asked me if I wanted to review it. I asked several questions in a response via email, and got nothing back in return. And I'm very studious about like making sure that the email address from the person emailing me matches the company. I do research. I don't click on links in email, stuff like that. And the fact that they never responded if there's any kind of anti-bricking warranty with this does leave me a bit concerned. Could this brick your system? Absolutely. Could the original Switch 2 dock brick your system? Absolutely. The issues with the bricking with the first Nintendo Switch happened when the voltage handoff with out-of-spec power supplies did not properly ramp up the voltage from 5 volts to 15. So could this? Yeah. Is it likely? Probably not. Overall, I will say this will probably be the dock that will stay down here in the studio, and the Switch 2 original dock will stay up in the living room because that is more of an enclosed area. This is more open. It's colder down here, so cooler airflow will get around the Switch 2. And quite honestly, I don't play down here as long or as often as I do in my living room. That's where we do all of our family type gaming. So I am not super concerned about this, but I would be lying if I said I had no concerns about it. Now, having looked at as many Switch docks as I have over the years, this is pretty much on par with those other ones. I'm thinking this has just got, a different chipset in here that allows it to ramp up to 20 volts. Let me know what you think of this down below in the comments. I will have a link down below as well if you want to pick one of these up. It is an affiliate link through Amazon, and it does go to help support the channel, but it's also one of those things, unfortunately, I don't have a way to provide a discount that way. Yeah, not a bad little piece of tech, but it still could be a little bit better. But you're looking at, $70 for this versus $120, so you're saving what, almost $50 going this route than going with the OEM official Nintendo one. So, I mean, that's not an insignificant savings. Now, if you do have an original Nintendo Switch, and if you are looking for an optional dock for that, check out the link that I have up here. That's our playlist with all of our Switch docks that we've reviewed. I'm sure you're going to find something here you're going to like.